Race 1 yesterday in the R&G British Talent Cup was a tight affair. It was Lucas Brown who started on pole position, but it was the number 24 of Ryan Frost who took the whole shot into turn 1. There was battles all the way through the race as Lucas Brown and Emmanuel Brinton, the number 29 and the number 43, got their elbows out. Those are the two fighting for the championship. Ryan Frost was getting firmly stuck in though and did take the victory by the end of the race. Brown likes to lead it from the front, and he continued to do so. Ryan Frost managed to slipstream him down that back straight though. Brown was strong on the brakes into Paddock Hill Bend and into pretty much every corner. Filip Sorowiak was making some big moves on the number 75 as well. That last lap came around and it was absolute carnage. The number 40 of Julian Correa was trying to get in on the mix, but it was Lucas Brown that led the way onto that start-finish straight. He was demoted to P3 by Ryan Frost, who took the victory, and Filip Sorowiak, who snipped it by just a whisker. The stars of the future then in the R&G British Talent Cup. Race 2 is on its way. We've got a battle for the championship, and down in 6th on the grid is Ronnie Harris, who's returning to racing this weekend after missing Snetterton due to injury. Harrison McKay has been having a brilliant weekend so far, and he'll line up on row 2 in 5th position. Ryan Frost, that's yesterday's race winner, picked up his 2nd win of the season. There's the championship leader, Lucas Brown, did pick up a podium yesterday, has finished in every single race so far this season. Julian Correa's had an absolute roller coaster of the season, started so strong. Now a change of team season with the Wilson Racing team. There's your pole man, Emmanuel Brinton. He's fighting for the championship with Lucas Brown. Brinton finished 4th yesterday, but I'm sure he'll be hungry and wanting to take full points in today's race too. It'll be a tight affair as it was yesterday. 30 seconds until these guys will see their warm-up lap. It'll be myself, Tristan Finocchiaro, bringing you the action for this one. Alongside me, Neil Mackenzie. After what we saw yesterday, Neil, this should be a barnstormer.
I loved yesterday's race, a 7-way battle in the closing stages, and I did my best to try and predict who was going to go over the line first, and I probably got it wrong, but 7 guys giving it their all, and what I like is the quality of riding. They've all got different skills, they've all got different tactics, but they are all super talented, and we saw all 7 of them at the front. 7-way battle for that podium. Ryan Frost taking the victory, but Lucas Brown putting a fantastic championship season together, as you said, being on the podium every single time. But all of these guys know how to win, want to win, and I can't tell what's going to happen today. We've got perfect racing conditions, we've got the perfect racetrack, and I can't wait to see these get going.
Is Lucas Brown, who extended his championship lead yesterday after finishing P3 ahead of Emmanuel Brinton in P4. Just 27 points between them. Lucas Brown, 2 wins to his name, with Emmanuel Brinton equally 2 wins to him. Brown does have 2 more podiums though. He's finished on the podium in every race apart from 1 so far. It's Brinton who'll start from pole position this time around though. Started from 4th yesterday after a nightmare qualifying session. Correa on the front row. He's in between your 2 championship rivals, so keep an eye out for the number 40. Ryan Frost is yesterday's race winner, so keep an eye out for the number 24 as well. Ahead of Harrison McKay, who's had a brilliant weekend. Filip Sorowiak will be looking to carve through the field as well. We're used to seeing him a little bit higher up on the number 75 machine. Bill Harris down on row 4, ahead of Raymond Jr. and Kyle Payne, who picked up his first points yesterday, just his 2nd round in this championship. Eli Banish had a crash earlier on in the weekend, but he's down on row 6, ahead of Josh Bannister and Jack Burrows. We've got Barnes, Jones and Ben Jolliffe down on row 7 with Peter Willis, Goodman and Sam Munson down on row 8. Munson struggling with a lot of pain in his shoulder at the moment and had a very unlucky day yesterday with a technical issue. Isaiah Devine rounds out the grid for this one. Back racing again this weekend after missing Snetterton. Needed to find a new team after the unfortunate passing of John Creswell saw that Creswell team pull out for the remainder of the season. Manuel Brinton then finished every race apart from 1 right at the beginning of the season, where a big pile up of riders saw him crash out. He's only finished off the podium twice in all the races he's finished. Just 27 points between him and that Sencat number 29 you see on the front row. The stars of the future then, the stars of British motorcycle racing, and we're about to see them do battle, and that's Clayton Edmonds being pushed off the grid. He's been having a positive weekend so far, was looking so good on Friday, but a technical issue there perhaps has stalled it on the grid, and that rear wheel looks as if it's locked, Neil.
On the grass, yeah, locked up. Looks like he's got the clutch pulled in, but there's some drag going on there. So every time he gets on the grass, the rear wheel locks and the bike goes sideways. But yeah, this will be making
it's moving though.
Yeah, it is moving now. So maybe just the clutch was dragging a bit in first gear. Could have done with getting it in neutral, but this will be stressing the guys on the grid a little bit. Temperature will be rising. It rises quickly on these little 250 single-cylinder machines. So the mechanics and technicians will be stressing a little bit that they're going to overheat, but I think we're okay and good to go.
Temperatures, revs, blood pressures all rising here as we wait to get this race underway. We've got one more warm-up lap for these guys to reset.
I think that's good. Track temperature around 21, 22 degrees. Ambient temperature around 22 degrees. Track temperature around 28, 30 degrees. So no real stress on the tyres losing any temperature, but it makes sense just to get everything right up to optimum temperature, giving another warm-up lap. And also just to let these guys get their engines cooled down or back to the optimum temperature. So just letting them set off there when they were sitting on the grid a little bit anxious. Good to get them settled down, the right thing to do for the youngsters. So obviously one less lap in this race.
Race distance now down to 13 laps. Now they're having a good look at that bike for Clayton.
That's Ryan Saxby there, the RS Racing City Lifting team. Very unusual to have any technical issues with Ryan.
Yeah, very well turned out bike.
Yeah, incredible amount of success, like John Cresswell being in this, looking after the junior riders for a lot of years, and really good at looking after them, both as a mentor and as a technician and bike setup, no matter what the size and shape of the riders. Ryan doing a great job, and if there's any way they'll get that bike back out there, they will. We'll have to start from the pit lane. But time is running out. I don't think, yeah, no, I think they might struggle with this one because the guys are halfway around. They need to have that bike back up and running and at the end of the pit lane ready to go when the race starts and the last guy passes the pit lane exit.
It's getting frantic now down there in pit lane, and there.
Maybe gear shift problem. He's working on the gear shifter on the left-hand side there. Maybe it got jammed or seized or something.
They're all about to line up on the grid here as well. Time is ticking.
Oh no, that's a rear sprocket. He's had off there. What's going on with that? Maybe a chain issue, or sprocket maybe came loose or came off. He's digging something out there, levering something with his extension.
Really difficult to know what that issue is, but it doesn't look as if they're going to be able to get that sorted before these guys go ahead.
Front sprocket as opposed to rear sprocket. Got that one wrong. That is the rear sprocket you're looking at. Chain's not on. The bikes are getting ready to set off, so this is going to be very, very tight.
The clock's ticking, but they are trying. The red flag has already been taken off the grid, though, and the lights will go on very shortly. There's another rider going down pit lane now, but the attention is to the lights, and we're away here at Brands Hatch for race 2 for the R&G British Talent Cup. It was a good start from the middle of the front row for Julian Correa, but an even better start once again from Ryan Frost, who climbs his way up into P1. It's Frost on the number 24 that leads ahead of Julian Correa and your championship leader, Lucas Brown. Brown now up into second place as he takes that away from Julian Correa up at Druids. Just behind them is Emmanuel Brinton. Clayton has managed to get out on circuit, but he's going to be quite a way behind these guys, so we'll keep an eye out to see if he can do absolutely anything from there, but it's going to be a very, very tall order. Brinton up the inside of Correa for P3. It's Frost from Brown, Brinton and Correa all away cleanly so far.
Capitalised well on that one, Ryan Frost. Lucas Brown also got a good start, but Julian Correa, he got the perfect launch from the middle of the front row. Great to see Clayton out there. Well done, Ryan Saxby. I didn't think that was possible, but just to get him out, he maybe lost a little bit of time, but he's in the race and you never know. If we've got a safety car, if we've got a red flag, then everything resets. So if you can't get out there at all, it's always worthwhile.
Clayton, very fast little rider. Member in the Fab Racing Mini Bike Championships. We've also heard that the number 99, Peter Willis, has also had to start through from pit lane. I did see him coming down pit lane as the race was getting underway, so I wonder what's happened there. Keep an eye out on the both of them.
Lucas Brown thought about a move there into Stirling's and then backed out of it. Ryan Frost, though, perfect jump. Maybe one of the smaller, lighter riders that may well have helped, but not getting away from Lucas Brown at this point. And Emmanuel Brinton also in tow.
Oh, Brown to the inside. We know he likes that move at Paddock Hill Bend, just able to turn it in underneath Ryan Frost. These three breaking away a little bit at the front, but there's still a long, long way to go here. And we know how fast Julian Correa and Filip Soroviak can be. Soroviak, who started a little bit further down on the grid, has carved his way up to P5 now from P7 on the grid. Keep an eye out for him. He's been fast all weekend. These three at the front, though. Frost all over the rear wheel of Lucas Brown. Very strong on corner entry into Surtees. Brown with a slight advantage on exit, though, and Brown needs to make sure he's getting those perfect exits, because he does, you can see visibly right there that he does lose out along these front straights.
He does. Lucas Brown taking that traditional, or his line down the inside, just hanging right as the head down Pilgrim's Drop. He knew that Ryan Frost was going to come around the outside, but all he can do is hang in there. And as yesterday, the smart thing to do is just to try and stay in that bunch, and then maybe just see if you've got something up your sleeve for the closing laps. Lucas Brown, I feel, just throws everything at it every single lap, because that's what he has to do. No real strategy, and I think that's the best thing. But for Ryan Frost, you've seen yesterday, he wasn't leading when in the closing stages of the race, and he just got the drive out of clearways through Clark to take the win.
Just on the back of this group as well, Kyle Payne up into 10th position just in his second weekend in the R&G British Talent Cup, and he was faster than anyone through Sector 2 as well. He's been strong there all weekend, so doing very well on the number 82 machine's been racing over in the European Talent Cup. These guys out the front, though, they'll all have their sights set. Brinton's another rider who's raced over in the European Talent Cup as well. Such a strong field over there, but such a strong field here as well.
Fastest lap there to Ronnie Harris. That's a very respectable lap time, 36.9 on the second lap. That record is 36.1, so out the box, that is fast. Obviously getting a bit of a slipstream in the bunch there, but very respectable lap time. Six-wheeler at the front, meanwhile.
Very, very strong field here in the R&G British Talent Cup. It's good to see close racing. It's good to see there's so many bright prospects for the future of British motorcycle racing. Frost not giving it up, and now Emmanuel Brinton comes through as well. It's so tight through there, and that is so fast, Neil.
It certainly is. Lucas Brown was not prepared to give that one away. Just set out a warning there to Emmanuel Brinton. You might come up my inside, but I will be still leaning into the corner. And I'm sure he gets a little bit frustrated because Lucas Brown, one of the bigger riders, loses out a bit of kind of aerodynamics and maybe weight on that back straight. He knows that the guys are going to catch him, especially along the top before they plunge down the hill to Hawthorn, so he really has to do everything he can, and if that means being a little defensive, then that's going to be what it takes.
Ronnie Harris has certainly had his Weetabix this morning. Fastest lap of the race, and he's all over these guys now. He's just set the fastest third sector so far in this race as well, so keep an eye out for the number 66. He's going to be wanting to get in on the mix as well. Has already had a race win in this category at the Wet at Donington, in the Wet at Donington last year. Frost from Brinton. Lucas Brown having a look up the inside now. Is he going to do the pair of them? He takes Brinton, so up into P2.
That was a nice move from Lucas Brown there. He set that up on the entry into Paddock Hill Bend. He went high and then pulled it down, so he got a nice drive down the hill, which allowed him to get down the inside of Emmanuel Brinton into Druid. So really thought about that one and got the job done. This is probably better for Lucas Brown heading on here in the slipstream rather than leading, so he can use whatever slipstream he can from the number 24 Ryan Frost and help pull him along there and at least maintain his position, because when he's in front it just seems so easy for Ryan Frost to jump past.
Brinton now, though, he's been losing points consistently to Lucas Brown. He really needs to be finishing ahead of him if he wants a chance of taking this title. Brown in his fourth year in the R&G British Talent Cup, looking to move up next year, wants to move up as champion. Brinton fought for the championship last year, missed out to Evan Belford. And there's only one result that's good enough this year for the pair of them.
Definitely.
Only one of them can take it, though.
Lucas Brown, I imagine, needs to move up to a championship with slightly bigger bikes, Moto3, maybe European Talent Cups. Maybe not for him. He's his size, not necessarily his weight, but he's learned so many skills here, and he's got fantastic racecraft, fantastic bike skills. But you would think that a bigger bike's going to suit the number 29.
Yeah, it's difficult knowing where to go for Brown, because obviously his size is a massive factor in where he goes next. But obviously if he does win this championship, there may be opportunities for him in the European Talent Cup. But like you said, Neil, I think he does need to get off of one of these NSF 250s. Perhaps a Moto3, full spec Moto3 bike in the Junior World Championship might suit him.
Or Moto2, just get in there.
He'd do well on a 600.
Get learning, yeah, maybe Moto2 and Junior World Championship would be great in
Or
Spain.
equally, sport bike in this paddock could be a good option for him. Maybe
Exactly.
even a super sport ride, although that is a very big jump.
Sport bike makes sense. He can take all of his skills to that class. Not hugely powerful bikes, but he knows the tracks, rides well. Carry on the career ladder.
Look at this now, all the way back to Harley McCabe in 8th position.
Scott McPhee having a better mid-season run as well. He had a few disasters early on, but Scott point scoring position yesterday and already in the top 10, looking good there for the number 19.
Yep, up into P10, battling it out with Bill Harris and Kyle Payne for that 10th position. There's this big gaggle of riders, and then 1.7 seconds back to George Bowes in the lonely 10th place, and then that battle, 10th, 11th and 12th between McPhee, Harris and Payne. Brown putting the hammer down out the front now. Fastest lap of the race on that last lap, 0.6 of a second quicker than Ryan Frost, and he has edged out a little bit of a gap here, but Emmanuel Brinton has noticed that, and he's made his way past Frost and has closed him right back in.
Yeah, Lucas Brown did that on his own at the front, which is very impressive, given that he is slightly bigger. But,
Yeah.
So half a second pretty much coming into clearways, but it was 0.2 going over the line. And it's certainly quite a big gap when it comes to British Talent Cup races, but as we know, very difficult to break away. Ryan Frost here, he's the man. He's got a nice drive out there behind Emmanuel Brinton. He's going to get a slipstream effect. He's not even bothering with that. He's going left already. Down the hill trying to pass around the outside. Not sure he'll do Brinton here. Brinton's strong on the brakes. And he's got the line. And he's going to get a nice run through here onto the rear of Lucas Brown. So 4, 6, 8-way battle here we have for the podium.
Incredible stuff at the front. Really unfortunate to hear that Sam Munson, the Munson burner, has retired and come in the pits. Retired yesterday as well, struggling with pain in his shoulder. They put a new engine in the bike for this race, but clearly something not quite right with that new engine, and that's the end of the weekend for Sam Munson. Back at the front though, these guys, hammer and tonks at the front of this race. Soroviak now up into P4 and looking like he wants to get involved in this battle for the podium. Brown from Brinton, Frost, Soroviak, Correa, McCabe, Ronnie Harris is this battle out the front.
Manuel Brinton just broken Evan Belford's lap record, 1:36.0. Very, very impressive.
One of many lap records to go out the window this year. It's such a fast pace at the front of the R&G British Talent Cup. Brown bites straight back though. No love lost between these two. And it's good to see as well, Neil, that the two taller riders in the field are actually the riders doing the business at the front.
Definitely. Really good to see. Huge talents. Ryan Frost there, a little bit wide as it went round Graham Hill Bend. He lost a bit of time because he needs to be a little bit more tucked in behind the number 43 of Brinton. Lost a bit of time there. He's just gone back towards Soroviak.
Brinton having a little look up the inside. Manuel, whose family moved over to Spain for racing, done a lot of racing over in Spain as well. Of course, this is his second full season in the British Talent Cup, known as Manny. Still just 15 years old, currently living in the UK and Valencia, Spain. Also got an Ethiopian background, which makes him one of the first riders with Ethiopian heritage to compete at this level of motorcycle racing. Now it's all Linus Stern at the moment. It's just starting to feel like the calm before the storm here, Neil.
Always just past half race distance now, but 4-way battle And Brinton round the outside. Using the Lucas Brown line, he'll pull that down. He will get a nice drive through Paddock Hill Bend here. Maybe not quite enough to get alongside Lucas Brown on the brakes. He's having a look. Lucas Brown commits back to the apex at Druids. Meanwhile, Soroviak gets up to third.
Soroviak now then, with the pace, has put a good couple of laps in, been keeping an eye on.
And he was underneath Belford's lap record on that last lap, 36.1. Very
Pace so hot at the front, and you can see it because it's stretching the field out a little bit out here. So we've got those front four who've just cleared away from Correa, McCabe, McKay in there, Ronnie Harris as well, who was looking so strong earlier on in this race. Wonder if that injury still affecting Ronnie Harris. Soroviak now up into P2 then.
Fascinating race here. Ryan Frost back and forth now, setting very fast sectors. So these guys are just getting faster and faster, but can't take away what Lucas Brown is doing at the front here.
Not at all. Brown out the front, doing what he does best, hitting his markers. Here's that overtake for second then. Soroviak up the inside.
Ryan Frost does the right thing, hangs out wide, so he gets a nice drive up to Westfield. Very much in touch.
Like we said, Brown, he likes to lead these races, just goes around, hits his markers. Was watching him in free practice at Snetterton. He does all his laps on his own, just goes out, hits his markers, and he was the fastest in that session. Doesn't need a slipstream, doesn't need a tow.
I like that, because if you ever get into the lead, then you need to be able to have these skills, and riders that are waiting and following, trying to get a lap time, sure, it can help. But you need to know how to lead a race, and I definitely like that. He's got a good team behind him if they're advising him, or that's what he's choosing to do. So that's definitely the right thing for his career in the future.
These four out the front putting down a pace that no one can stick with, consistent low 36s, which is so impressive. That battle a little bit further back though. This battle for 10th place between Scott McPhee, George Bowes in there as well as Bill Harris. Kyle Payne's just dropped off the back of those guys now. So Payne still having a very good weekend. Soroviak back up into P2.
Yeah, really closed the gap here. Thinking about a move into Westfield.
He wants to challenge for the lead.
He does. He's close enough. And now, as they come on to start-finish straight, he will benefit from the slipstream. So he really is close enough. He put some good laps together, Soroviak.
Yep, and Soroviak looking menacing now on that number 75 RS Racing machine. 2 out of these top 4. The bikes ran out of that Ryan Saxelby outfit. Team we know can be very competitive in this championship. Soroviak hits the front then. The half English, half Polish rider. Absolutely lovely family. Was so happy for him last year when he picked up his maiden victory, and it's just unlocked a completely different rider. Brown though, into Paddock Hill Bend. No one can match him into there.
New lap record for Emmanuel Brinton. It's not over yet.
Still going. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 35 at this point.
That would be incredible.
Feeling very fast lap times on these little Honda NSF 250s. Essentially pre-Moto 3 machines.
Yeah, minimum weight, rider and bike 148 kilos, just over 40 brake horsepower, but the perfect machine for youngsters to learn the craft.
Coming towards crunch time now then, these top 4 just want to make sure they're in the right position on that final lap to try and challenge for this victory. It's knowing where the right place to be is on that last lap, because there's so many different options for overtaking round here. As Brinton has a look up the inside, didn't commit to it though. Once you're at that point in the corner, you really need to be committing to that overtake.
Lucas Brown knew what he was going to do though, and that was round the outside, which is so brave, so confident, so much corner speed, especially through the fast stuff. He just didn't care, he just committed.
Yeah, there's no lack of commitment on that number 29 machine.
For any of the top 8, really.
100%. I'm just wondering now, they're getting that battle a little bit further back, getting slightly closer to these front 4 now. They have been swapping and changing positions throughout this whole last lap. Yeah, seems to be when Brown hits the front, it stretches them out a little bit. Then when they start battling, it bunches them up again.
Much closer, a second closer. 9/10 of a second closer on this lap. Correa is to Frost. or to Brinton now.
It's not over for these guys now then. That group just need to keep Linus Stern, hit their markers, tick the laps away, and try and get back onto the back of these guys, because these guys are tripping each other up.
Well, the first four are not going to stay Linus Stern, I can guarantee you that.
I mean, 37s on that last lap for the front four and 36s for the group behind, and that's simply down to the fact that they are tripping each other up at the front.
I think they're just having a bit of a break, bit of a breather, bit of a rest, and then they're just going to, well, we know they're going to throw everything at it, but just 2.5 laps to go.
Incredible racing at the front means nothing until that final lap, though. Soroviak hits the front once again. He's determined in this one. He's definitely had his Weetabix. Brown bites straight back, though. All these guys want it just as much as the next guy.
Lucas Brown, yeah, wanting to go around the outside there, but there's physically no room. Emmanuel Brinton down the inside of Ryan Frost.
Correa's on them now.
Eight-way battle for the podium.
And that changed very, very quickly. So what will these guys be able to play a part in this front gaggle of riders? Lap 12 of 13. Just 2 laps remaining. 2 tours of this beautiful Brands Hatch GP circuit. And we've got an 8-rider battle for the victory. Exactly the type of racing we want to be seeing in the R&G British Talent Cup. The stars of the future battling it out on equal machinery. And who's going to take this victory here at Brands Hatch? They all want it as much as each other.
Well, for Lucas Brown and Manuel Brinton, having looked down the inside, and Lucas Brown, what a pass on Soroviak just then. But I was going to say, for Lucas Brown, if I was him, well, holding back's the wrong thing to do, but just position yourself so you're not leading on this occasion, because he is just slipstream city for all these guys behind him. He's lost 3 places there, and then meanwhile he dives back to the front. Incredible.
That's how you cope with it.
He went back.
No excuses.
Went back to 4th and then had all 3 back. So, yeah, his commitment is second to none.
He knew exactly what he needed to do, got absolutely swallowed up on that straight, but...
Yeah, he knows a lot better than I do, because my suggestion was to hang back, but he's not doing that. And, yeah, I like his style. I like the way he's putting a great championship together, and who am I to say, tell him what to do, but this is going to be fascinating on the last lap.
Been an absolute standout in these past couple of rounds as Lucas Brown and Brinton looked so strong at the beginning of the season going into the first round, but hasn't had it all his own way at all. Right, last lap time then. Soroviak leads the way, not for long though. Brown dips underneath him at Paddock Hill once again. Brinton now needs to finish in front of Lucas Brown.
Soroviak's good there, but a little bit wide this time. Lucas Brown gets back under him, down to Graham Hill Bend. Lucas Brown leading once again.
So difficult to shake off Brown. He just bites straight back at you. We'll see what happens as we go down Pilgrim's Drop this time around.
Not sure I want to watch.
Brinton ducks to the inside. That's going to push Soroviak ever so slightly wide. Oh, and that's Bill Harris that's gone down. So unfortunate for Bill. Down Pilgrim's Drop one more time then. And they're not close enough to Brown to make a move, although Brinton ducks to the inside and does make a move stick. Is Brown going to bite straight back at him at the next corner? He's lining it up and he gets it done before they even reach the braking zone. Got all of that done on the exit.
Brinton is good into Sterling's, which is the next left-hander. Whoa, he's not waiting that long, but...
Let's see what Brinton does at Sterling's then. Is he close enough? He's having a look.
I think he could have been, but he tried to commit on the run-up to Sheen.
I think at this point, Brinton knows that if he gets a good drive out of clearways, it is possible to slipstream and get past Brown before the line, and I think that's what he's planning to do.
Lucas Brown will have good corner speed here.
He got into the tuck very early.
He did.
It's going to be a drag to the line here. Which way is it going to go?
Brinton.
It's going to be Brinton that takes victory. That is your championship battle out on circuit, and once again, Lucas Brown loses victory on the drag to the line. It happened at Snetterton, it happened yesterday, and that's George Bowes that's gone down. It looks as if that was at Clearways, and it was. Very fast place to be going down, so hopefully George Bowes is relatively okay. Brinton, though, 25 points towards his championship campaign, ahead of his championship rival, Lucas Brown. And Soroviak fought so hard towards the closing stages of that race and brings home a podium. He's happy with that one. Just nudges that championship lead back down to what it was before.
Every point count, very smart move there, but Lucas Brown couldn't have done any more, especially on that last lap. An outstanding last lap, including exiting Clark's in the lead. But again, classic Brands Hatch last corner with so many of these changes of position as they go over the line.
How are you going to feel if you're Lucas Brown, though? Because that's 3 races in a row where he's been slipstreamed to the line and lost the victory.
He has to take the positives. He's putting a great championship together. He's riding exceptionally well, as are all these riders. But Lucas Brown, he cannot fault his commitment, his skills. But Emmanuel Brinton, he's a smart cookie as well, and he knew what was on offer if he could just position himself properly on that last lap, and that's what he did. He had a look at Sheen, but he waited and still got the job done.
He knew exactly what he needed to do, and he takes 25 points ahead of his championship rival, Lucas Brown. There was absolutely nothing in it. Filip Soroviak, a brilliant podium for the Polish rider ahead of Ryan Frost and Julian Correa, who rounded out the top 5. McCabe, McKay, Ronnie Harris were all in the mix as well. Then that battle a little bit further back. Scott McPhee and Joshua Raymond Jr., who rounded out the top 10. Eli Banish, Jack Burrows and Josh Bannister take the final points of race 2 here at Brands Hatch for the RNG British Talent Cup. Let's have a look at these championship standings then. What is the damage to the difference? It's Lucas Brown who still leads, 22 points in it between him and Emmanuel Brinton. That's less than a race victory, which is significant going forward. That's after 9 races, so still plenty more racing action yet to come in this RNG British Talent Cup, and it is still wide open. That battle for 3rd place now between Ryan Frost and Julian Correa hearting up nicely as well. Peter Willis, Jack Burrows, Daniel Goodman round out the top 15 in the championship, with Alexander Rowan rounding out the top 20. Kyle Payne 23rd in the championship after just racing in 2 rounds so far this season. He'll be around for all the rounds that don't clash with the European Talent Cup. Brilliant victory for Emmanuel Brinton. He knew exactly what he needed to do on the drag to the line and takes it by a whisker ahead of his championship rival. Brown in the background just looking a little bit dejected there, which is understandable after losing out 3 times. Let's have a little look at this final lap. Brown at the inside at Paddock Hill. Like to do that over and over again. Soroviak tried to get it back on him at Druids, but Brown wise to that one. Brinton with that move that he favoured so often down at Surtees. And that was the difference between 1st and 2nd place. Absolutely nothing in it between the pair of them. And that's the racing that we love to see in the RNG British Talent Cup, and we've seen time and time again. The number 43 takes victory once again. His 3rd victory this year. He's down with Amy in pit lane.
Emmanuel, an important win for the championship there. You positioned yourself so well for that final lap and, of course, the race to the line.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to plan the race, staying in 3rd most of the race, just seeing where they're weaker, where they're stronger. I learned a couple of things off of the other riders where I needed to improve, and I managed to time it perfectly to the line.
Congratulations, well done.
Thanks.
Not a man of many words, but a man with plenty of talent. Takes another victory. That's his 3rd this season. He's only finished off the podium twice, once yesterday. But he's up against Lucas Brown, who's finished every race so far, and only once was he off the podium, his worst result being 4th place so far this season. This championship is wide open. These races are delivering absolute barnstorming action. I'm so excited to see how this championship story is going to play out. Really happy for Filip Soroviak and his family. Great race from the number 75. although I know him very well and he will have wanted to take 25 points in that one. Brinton it was that took it though on the RS Racing machine, who beats the Sencat Talent Team bike of Lucas Brown. Alex Baldolini handing out the trophies. Of course, him and Matt Bolkin working very, very closely with these riders. They get a lot of help from the pair of them, one-to-one mentoring on how they can be improving, how they can be constantly learning. Of course, they're still very much at the beginning of their racing careers, but brilliant action from the lot of them. Race 2 at Brands Hatch for the R&G British Talent Cup was such a tight affair at the front. The battle was between the number 29 of Lucas Brown and Emmanuel Brinton, the two fighting it out for the championship. Filip Sorowiak got himself firmly in the mix as well and was challenging for the race lead on multiple occasions. Ryan Frost was also well within the mix. These guys were scrapping it out at the front, which allowed the riders behind to close in on them. And there was 8 bikes battling for the victory. 3 abreast down into Hawthorns. Doesn't usually work, but it seems to work in the British Talent Cup. Sorowiak on the final lap was doing everything he could to try and take the victory away from Lucas Brown, but that number 29 just too strong. Here was the run to the line though. It was Brinton that snatched victory from Lucas Brown, with Sorowiak rounding out the podium.